The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Regional Transportation Commission meeting, July 16th, 2020.
July 16th to order. Roll call. Here. 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 Present. Here.
And George.
Here.
George, anything in public comments, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, the city and the RTC is doing a regrind on a section of Avenue D between the Prospector and the Wheeler Machinery, along with the soil stabilization to prep for a future chip overlay, from what I understand. The whole project needs to be done under a general improvement district. Not all of the road is paved, it was a dirt road, and there is no curb, no gutter, no sidewalk, or ADA compliance. The traffic in that area is too heavy for just a chip overlay. I want to remind you of that. It appears you're doing a sweetheart project. You need to adhere to city standards, which have not been changed. This patch job is not going to get it. You need to do things right one time. I want to remind you that the curb and gutter was not and has not been put in on the Mill Street chip overlay project. The erosion is going to ruin that project. You can't override city regulations. I want to remind you that. Mr. Chairman, on the corner of the Campton Great Basin, the Copper Crew continues to drain its parking lot runoff on the sidewalk, which is illegal. In the wintertime, it freezes. It creates a slipping hazard. It's alongside a state highway. It hasn't been addressed as of yet. Also, the Campton access needs to be widened to city standards. It was improperly narrowed and never approved by the city council. I want to remind you that the city sued me when I put in curb gutter and sidewalk on Avenue G, and I followed their directions. That road is considerably wider. Considerably wider. Let me caution you about selective enforcement and discrimination. Getting tired of that. Mr. Chairman, I want to remind you that Carol McKenzie in London has yet to correct the ADA non-compliant sidewalk she put outside her fence line. She needs to address that. She's on the planning commission, creates rules and regulations for everybody, and yet it doesn't pertain to her. She needs a lesson. Mr. Chairman, no ADA access on the corner of Avenue C and 11th Street, 13th Street and Avenue M. Those are both RTC projects that were done improperly, and there is no ADA access. Mr. Chairman, nothing's been done on 7th Street, on the railroad crossing, across from the old grade school. You've taken away the access. I can't work along my fence line and do maintenance. You're putting the handicapped out in the street. Poor job, and it was a federal project. The railroad needs to address that. I'm not going to let this one go. On an earlier subject, we talked about the medium on 15th Street, but I've not seen anything since then. That street is going to be narrowed once the median goes in. There is no sidewalk for pedestrians to walk. That needs to be addressed, and I haven't seen you guys put it on any of your agendas yet. You know where I'm talking about?
I will check the minutes.
August 15th, 2019. That's all I have for now.
Thank you. All right, item C, discussion only, NDOT projects. Everybody knows. QJ, start Monday,
Yes,
2 years.
that's the anticipation, yes, this summer or next summer construction season. Are they gonna work during the winter? No, I think they're anticipating when it gets into November or whatever, that they will shut down for a couple months and come back in the spring.
City meeting projects, anything update?
We'll be doing the chip at the end of the month on Mill and Belfort. And we're gonna start doing some cold patch overlays, hopefully on 10th, 11th, Ely Avenue, with the plan of doing a chip job over the top of them. Dealing suggestions, or recommendations, I should say. So we're gonna start that, we're gonna start doing some of them roads like that.
Yes, George?
Where on Ely Avenue, Mike?
What is that block? 300?
What's it near?
Remember Eric, oh, that little school down there, the old little school, the next block north. It's in bad condition.
That would be between,
The Renaissance?
Center Street and North Street.
Yes,
Oh, the Central Ely School.
The Center
yes,
Street
yes, yes, yes.
Pink School.
Down on the hill.
Okay. Thank you.
And then up on, by the dam on 11th and 10th Street.
What was that again?
Up by the dam school,
Okay.
try to do some overlays on them, improve them, and then we'll be doing that slurry seal, what, September?
Yeah, the intention is to try to get this slurry seal project going in September if weather holds. For both the city, both
Yeah, for the county and.
the county and the city, the joint project.
Do you plan on doing Ely over here behind the 4/7s and going toward the Renaissance? You got Bombardier Alley there.
Oh, up on Ely Street. I'll have to look at
When you get a chance, I'd like you to look at that.
it. Sure. That's pretty much in a nutshell everything that I can think of. I don't have, am I missing things?
No, I think you're good.
Got any questions?
That's it? That's enough. Anything going on county projects, Naomi?
They're starting the chip seal in Lund on Monday. I'm gonna save enough for Belford to go. And then we did the first treatment on Oxborough Mitchell. They've already done the first treatment of stabilization. That's it.
That's on the McGill Highway up by 1250.
BJ, you gotta speak up.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
That's up by the club,
Well, your
on top of
property
McGill
is-
Highway by Club 50.
Oh, now you're doing it, now that I'm trying to sell it. That's good.
That's good for you.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's good.
you forced me out.
But Bill and Martin, I think they're both out on the 1177. We had a special meeting yesterday on that road, so that's probably why they're not. We've got some,
Is that the road right before you go up Pancake on the left?
yeah, it's
Yes.
out by Green Springs,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
What,
it's
heavy
head straight
drill,
south.
drill rigs going out that way or something?
That's what it is. And the road was destroyed, and he said they started work on it, so they're out there and checking it all out, and we'll address it at the next county commission meeting on the 22nd. But, they have some pictures of that road was pretty destroyed, but, the company is trying to get it worked out.
You must have just seen the dust, 'cause
That's all I can see.
Yeah.
The whole length of that one, yeah.
So they're out there today.
I remember where it's at now, because when I went to Reno Friday, and there was one truck, I mean, it had about half a mile of dust behind it, so,
probably is.
yeah. Partially up on the mountainside.
It's a little bit up on the bench there,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. RTC meeting, September,
October.
October?
We may have to have one in September if we get this thing, well, it's July right now, we may have to have it in August. But let me coordinate with Bill if that slurry project, the joint slurry project needs to come back in front of you guys for a award. So we may have to have one in August. But our intention is that it's trying to be, in front of the county commission, the second meeting in there, so it'll have to be, later in the month, not the first or the second week of the month, if we have that. And so I'll coordinate that with Bill and have a special then.
Well, when you get everything lined up, just get hold of Naomi and
Yes.
schedule one. not, they're having a meeting, we'll have another meeting in October.
Okay, okay,
I'll just need to know to schedule this room.
okay, yeah, I'll talk to Bill, and we'll schedule that, see how that's gonna work.
Okay.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, April 14th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 14th.
Second?
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anything else, George, you chat about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we've got this road project coming on hand with the Great Basin Boulevard. And we've not addressed the proper access coming off of Park Avenue, Campton Street, Avenue I, Avenue K, and Avenue L. All our accessing is not the minimum city standards, needs to address it now. I want to know what we're going to do. Some of those roads were narrowed without any approval of the city council, and it needs to be addressed. I want to remind you that Keith Carson has yet to fulfill his RTC agreement in regards to the paving of Orson and Ruby. He hasn't finished that valley gutter. Didn't tie him in, hasn't finished putting in his curb and gutter. He's got a trailer park where he's putting in modular homes, which is not allowed. It's a trailer park. This guy has got to be reined in. We have rules and regulations that pertain to everybody, and that includes him. He made an agreement with this board that he would put in the valley gutter. If you paved that street, you paved that street. But he reneged on his part, and it needs to be completed. Earlier you talked about additional monies for roads. Mr. Howe, you haven't put anything on the agenda in regards to taxing electric cars or accessing the state and seeing if they do something. But the more you get on there, the less you're going to collect. More electric cars you got on there, the less you're going to get from gas tax. And we need to address that now. Lastly, I want to remind you, Avenue A is a private road. You guys done sniffle of projects, or you haven't. If you haven't, the city and the county is, and you can't do that. Lastly, Avenue D near the Holiday Inn, you got to look at that ingress egress. It's much too narrow. You're creating a hazard. You're running over stop signs 4 or 5 times. They're pushing that boulder onto the sidewalk. Person with a wheelchair cannot get past that. I want that into the record, please. On that particular project, Avenue D was narrowed down way too much. The curb and gutter should be 5 feet from the fence line of the Van Camp junkyard, not 11 feet. I understand the city paid $16,000 for that curb and gutter on the north side. That money needs to come back. Mr. Van Camp needs to pay that, not the taxpayer. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing else? Have a good day.
BJ.
Fight fires.
That started on Alan. BJ.
Well, that's basically the pothole. There's sewer down there, but there's water main that's gotta go down that road. And so that's gotta go through.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.